Should I have a migraine?
What?
Ta-da!
Good morning.
Take two!
Hello and welcome to the Sun Dragon Sideshow.
The Dear Becky and Lizzy edition.
Oh.
Yeah, I got it right 2 times in a row.
We started and I realized I didn't have the microphone plugged in. I'm almost feeling sneezy again. You missed my sneeze. That was in the other edition. So, hi! I'm Rebecca. I'm trying to... I'm not used to sitting in a skirt. I'm wearing a
She's
dress
wearing a dress today.
I'm the owner of Sun Dragon Art and Fiber, and rainy and yucky, but not as bad as it was when we woke up. Brevard, North Carolina.
I'm Liz. I'm the minion there.
Yes, the trunk show I think is going to obscure the view of my dress, even if I'm standing up. But maybe when I stand up at the end, y'all can see. I finally got my skirts to not be. Nope, actually, they're still a little. Okay. I was going to say I finally got, I'm so unladylike right now. Only you can see it though. I finally got my skirts to not be bundled up under my bum. So, hi. Welcome everyone. What you see in front of you is we're having a trunk show for our 6th anniversary from the Fiber Fairy, who is a local indie dyer, and it's too much for us to put online. I keep touching these like
Crinkles.
the microphone's gonna pick those up. These are the Game of shawl kits that crinkle that are down in front here. I'm gonna try not to touch them to mess up the microphone. That's how I realized the microphone wasn't on. I'm like, crinkle. Oh, that's not lit up. When we first started, it's. A lot of these are one of a kind. There's some batches because she dyed some themed like sorbet yarn for the yarn crawl this year, and that's a lot of what our trunk show is. But it's a little complicated to try to get up online. So, if you see a color when we're filming, you'll have to call us. And the trunk show is not part of any sales we may advertise for the month because it is on loan from the Fiber Fairy. So like we're thinking about doing a discount for y'all later in the show. And if you see a Fiber Fairy yarn that you're like, ooh, I want that, you won't be able to get a discount on it. Full price. They are $24 for most of what you see in front of you. The sparkly ones, which aren't on camera, are $29. So. And then the kits are different prices, so contact us about that. So, yes, my hair is still purple.
You're so pretty.
Which is fun. And we'll see how long it lasts. You'll have to keep watching to see how long it lasts. And then maybe I'll try another color. Crinkle. My girls just hit the... I'll try not to... Maybe I should move these.
Yeah,
because I'm going to crinkle them. Get ready for crinklage. I'm just going to keep hitting them.
And
so.
crinkles are gone.
Crinkles are out of the way for the rest of the filming. There goes the sign. I'll get that later. I didn't bring anything to work on, so I'm just going to sit here and talk to y'all. Sometimes on Thursdays I'm trying that right now. So I'm saying lots of ums, though, which is just life. I'm trying not to say
So you said
I cut myself off. I went, So, Liz, what kind of questions do we have?
We have
you had two. While you're looking them up, Carmen asked a question. So you pull that up, and I can shake out my... oh, dude, it's staticky. I don't want to have to wear a slip with this, but it's staticky. This is going to be interesting. So, as much as you can see of my dress. Hello! Carmen asked after the last show, she asked about showing off a lot of the shop samples, and as we have time, if we remember, we'll do that. But this one is Ashes and Soot. It is by Melanie Rice, and I made it. There are 2 sizes. I made this one with 1 skein of our Fiber Spates DK that's back here in the Pebble Beach colorway. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I'll hold it up a little closer. But it is Ashes and Soot by Melanie Rice. And I think it's a great 1 skein. I love bandana cowls because they just sit so nice around your neck. with the point, and they don't flop, so you still see the texture of what you've knit.
Somebody bought yarn for that, and when they were like, what was the name, I was like, Ashes and Soot, and they're like, oh, that's kind of dark and sad. And I said it was part of a whole winter theme.
Oh, for a winter dark thing.
Yeah, like,
and it depends on the like she made it, Melanie Rice made it out of a really dark colorway, and we made it out of a middle one. I think it's really pretty, even with the name, you know, but we like dark and broody here, so it's okay.
we do.
All right.
So, our first question, which is a question...
staticky I'm going to be today. Yes?
I
Sorry.
forgot last week. I'm always, like, terrified I'm going to forget a question. So, if I forgot a question, call me on it. Because, like...
Gently remind us.
Yeah.
Liz never does it on purpose. She is not being malicious. She just... I start copying copying her on all of my communications because I want to make sure I don't forget things. And then her email is full.
Yeah.
Blame it on me.
Hi, Liz and Rebecca. The other day you mentioned zombie yarn, and I was trying to visualize it. What kind of magic knot do you use to tie all the bits together? Can you show us how to make the knot? Also, is there a minimum length for the scrap or the yarn scrap, or does it need to just be long enough to tie the knots? Do you have any samples to show us? Many thanks.
I don't feel like you use a magic knot, but I know you're going to do most of the talking here. Didn't we sell all the zombie yarn we made for the crawl?
We sold both balls that I made, but basically, it's COVID balls.
Like, Liz made those a while ago, and all the little ties, looked like COVID, so she called them COVID balls.
The COVID balls, the only difference between COVID balls and zombie balls is the COVID balls... I wrapped around foam, like a foam ball, so I didn't have to use a lot. And then I pulled all the little tufts
You
out.
actually tried to make those more visible.
Yes.
I think you got to back up slightly for people who've never heard of zombie yarn before.
So, my zombie yarn, we have...
I'm going to go get a project.
We have a whole drawer full of the ties that come on twist yarn. Like... knots, ties, we cut the knot, we pull the ties off, and within like 6 months, the drawer will be completely full again. And so what I started doing is I just pull 2 ties, match up the ends, and just like you'd tie a balloon or, you know, tied it, done, it won't.
So,
and then,
wait, so you just said like you tie a balloon.
Yeah, you know, like... Well, you know, like you wrap the balloon around your finger and then you pull the...
Okay, that's why I wanted you to
through.
explain, because I'm like... What if someone's never blown up a balloon before, Liz? It's possible.
It is.
It is. So you pull around and pull. So you don't do like an overhand knot.
I don't do like a square knot.
You don't do a square knot. Okay, I wanted to be very clear on that for anyone watching who was curious about this. Because I think what our question writer was asked, was thinking was that you did like a Russian join or you did Nope. Okay.
I just do the overhand or whatever.
And you let it have tails. That's part of the zombiness, right?
Yeah.
So,
how long does the piece need to be? Long enough to make 2 knots.
Long enough. It's like, you know, the balloons have extra stretchy, but you know how sometimes if the balloon is too full, you can't actually tie a knot with it. So that would be if your yarn isn't long enough to wrap around and be able to pull through with your fingers. And the amount of dexterity to do that is going to change person to person, which is going to determine if someone else wanted to make zombie yarn, they may need longer pieces.
I generally, like, most of the ties that come on the yarn are anywhere from 6 inches to almost a foot long. I've done zombie yarn with longer pieces. I've done, you know, as long as I have like an inch of color in between my knots, that's about how short I go. Mm-hmm. But, I just, you know, you just knots. And then as it gets longer, you start balling it up and it.
That's what Liz did. And you made like, did you make 100-gram balls?
I made 200-gram balls for the.
It took a long time to get to that point. So, you know, yeah. But if someone wanted to make their own zombie yarn, that's what we do.
Yep. So.
And I have all the ends I wove in making my cardigan that I will put in the drawer, but not all of those pieces may be long enough for zombie yarn.
Yeah. But.
That's okay.
I have a bag of knots that I've,
Are you going to do something with those?
I don't know. I thought they'd make great stuffing if somebody wanted stuffing.
Oh, that's a good idea.
But anyway, so yeah, in just a couple of seconds, I have probably 2 yards of yarn. But it, making 100 grams of it takes a while.
It takes a little bit longer because that's depending on the thickness of the yarn. That's anywhere from 200 to 400 yards. So yeah.
Most of the zombie yarn that I did for the zombie balls was chunky all the way down to lace weight, and for my COVID balls, it's super bulky all the way to lace weight. So
those are cute.
Some bigger.
And some people just didn't get the COVID balls. They were just like, huh?
No.
So, and those weren't necessarily for sale, but the zombie yarn was. So,
yeah.
Anyway.
And some people are like, zombie yarn, why would I do that? And if
it's not your thing, don't do it.
Yeah, it's a great way to, reclaim your scraps. There was a Instagram reel where somebody took their scrap yarn and carded it and then blended it on a blending board and made Rolags out of their scrap yarn and respun it and then continued on. But that's a lot of work. So zombie yarn just is great, fun, little scrappy, magic. So yay.
Okay. What else do we have today?
Let me scrolling.
Well, I'm finally putting this together, everybody. So I can't wait to show you. I'm hoping over the weekend maybe I can get this to where I'm putting the edging on, but it's been fun. Anyway, I'm not going to hold the whole thing up. Yes, you found it?
Found it.
Okay.
It's a sock question.
Okay.
You ladies did a wonderful job with the shaming video. Thank you. I am
like, let's be clear. The video last week was about how to fend off or how to deal with shame that's thrown at you. We were not shaming people.
Yes.
We don't shame people, but yes. Thank you for that because yes, that was a close to my heart episode. So yes, we didn't go shame. We say should is a shame word. Yes. And yes, love yourself and your craft.
I'm having sock issues.
Uh-oh.
Every time I make a pair, everything from the heel up falls down. It doesn't seem to matter what the pattern says. The cuff and everything from the cuff to the heel just falls down. Everything else fits perfectly. How can I stop the slouch? Slouchy in North Carolina.
So I don't know if we have a magic solution. Things I've read. I mean, that's part of why you want the sock content that's got the nylon in it, because that can help. But I'm assuming this person's already doing that. Some of the things I've read are actually that you I forget. It's like opposite of what you think. It's like people try to make it looser at the top. I don't think I have this book anymore. If things are too tight at the top, they might fall down, or too loose. And I'm forgetting which way it is now. I have a little bit of a migraine today, which I know if you watch us regularly, it probably sounds like I have one every day. But
she has a lesson, so it'll work itself out.
Yeah. And just so you know, if you care, Liz, right now you are hidden behind COVID balls.
Oh.
When you start to work on your thing. I mean, I'm okay with that, but you may not want to look like you have a COVID ball beard. So, some socks have, like, it depends on the cuff you're making sometimes. Like, some socks only have the ribbing at the very top of it. I sometimes like my cuffs to have ribbing the whole way. And I think that has a better chance of staying up. You may want to make ankle socks, so there's less material to fall down. But I wish I could remember. Maybe someone can comment below about if it's, I want to say maybe when it's too tight at the top, that actually causes the cuff to fall down. But I could be remembering this wrong. It could be like you think you have to make it wider for a big calf, and you don't actually want to do that. so it stays up better. Like again, migraine brain. I wish I could remember which way it went. I don't know if I have a magic way to make it stay up, because people will be like, oh, run elastic thread. They'll do that on the heels or the toes to make them more durable. I don't know if that's going to help your cuff stay up better. But I honestly think that's why a lot of people aren't making the super high cuffs, because they want to get slouchy. I'm wearing hand knit socks right now, and it's like after one wearing, until I wash them again, they get a little saggy and a little stretchy. Like the yarn just kind of wants to stretch a little bit.
Yarn is wibbly wobbly.
Yeah, so that can be challenging if you want the cuffs to stay up to a perfect height. One of the things I like to do for cuffs is, if it's like a multiple of 4, I like to knit 3 and purl 1, because you still have almost the same amount of elastic as a knit 1 purl 1, but you can see patterning yarn and that kind of stuff better. So I find knit 2 purl 2, if a pattern has that as the cuff, is not as elastic and stretchy as a knit 1 purl 1 or a knit 3 purl 1. So it could be playing around with the different types of elasticy things to be stretchy. It could be you want to try garter, which would be knit a row and purl a row, because the whole idea of garter is it's supposed to be stretchy. Like the garter that keeps up your stockings from olden days, that's stretchy, and that's where the name garter stitch comes from, is that it's stretchier. So it could be you want to try a different cuff, a different thing for the top of your cuff to make it stay uppable. I'm making up words here. For all the sock knitting that we've been talking about or doing, I don't really feel like I'm an expert on socks. I am still experimenting and learning a lot about them. So, but I want to say it was not quite the Ann Budd book, but we had a book about basic cuff down socks. Mm-hmm. And I got it from a company I don't work with anymore, so we don't have it here in the shop, but it had really great advice about things having to do with cuffs and stuff like that. And I can't remember if it was Ann Budd, but I feel like it might have been. Because Ann Budd has a lot of really good basic books on stuff. So if I go away and do some research on this and come back, I'll report back. But off the top of my head, I'm not being super clear or have the best advice for that. So
I've made 1 pair of socks. They were ankle socks. And mm-hmm. I've started 3 pairs, so they're not even.
I've started to make all of my socks, like when we say ankle socks, we're talking about the cuffs are really short. I've started to, I can get more, possibly 2 pairs of socks sometimes out of 1 skein of yarn, if I do that, of the fingering weight. And I wear them in the summertime and don't want to pull them all the way up. And in the wintertime, I'm still okay because I've got my pants or whatever. I don't need really long socks. So I've started like aiming towards, unless I'm making a sample for the shop, I've started aiming towards making shorter socks. Let me go grab, while we're talking about the topic, I'm grabbing a pair of socks that I made during the knit along last year. These were, I want to say these were toe up. Yes, because I did the short row heel. This had a few inches, like most of the cuff here is straight knitting, and there's maybe 2 inches at the top of ribbing. So a lot of patterns will do that. They'll either have the whole cuff be ribbed, or they'll have it only for an inch or 2 at the top. That's something I'd play around with. I don't know if this sock knitter is following this formula of most of it is not ribbed and just a little at the top. It may be you need more ribbing at the top, or you want to try the whole thing being ribbed. Because I think about socks I have at home, and a lot of them, like the machine bought socks, I think the ones I like the best probably have ribbing going the whole way up. But I don't know.
I was just thinking my way through when I wore socks.
I know, I'm like, you don't wear socks.
I don't really wear socks. Leg warmers or, mm-hmm. slippers or whatever. But mine always doesn't, machine-made socks always wind up just...
So machine-made socks fall down too.
Yeah.
Right? And that used to be, back in the 80s, that was the fashion, is you push them down and had them be all bunchy, and isn't that lovely? But that's not necessarily fashion or practical. So I think it's playing around with what's happening at the top of your sock a little bit. And most patterns, whereas like hats and sweaters and other things, the ribbing they'll have you do on a smaller needle. They don't do that with socks usually. It's the whole thing is done on the same size, which lends me to thinking the bigger, fluffier ribbing up here, that's what the book was saying, is like you would think that being looser at the top would make them fall down, but being looser at the top is actually necessary. But again, I have to go do research on that to find that. If it was in a book, I may not be able to find it again because we don't have the book here. If it's an online resource, I can see if I can look up. I will let y'all know, if possible, even in a comment on this video, or we'll report back next time. But there are different theories on that, and that's just like that is the other issue, is we all have different leg and calf shapes, and so what we advise may not work for the person who's asking the question. It's just like different people, especially those who knit a lot of socks, have like a favorite sock pattern that works really well for them, and they will say that like the only way to make socks is toe up and do this, and someone else will say the only way to make socks is cuff down and do that. And that's because that's what works for them.
If you poll 100 different sock knitters, you will get 150 different answers on what you're supposed to do.
Because some people have more than one. Sorry, when you explain it, it's not funny anymore, right?
I don't know. There was a lot of explaining of jokes yesterday.
I'm Captain Obvious, so, you know, and I have a migraine, so...
You had to explain it out loud. To yourself.
To myself.
That is even funnier.
Okay. So let's see. Okay, we've been filming for like 20 plus minutes. But we only had those two questions, right?
Yep.
So, okay, hang on a sec. I took a goodies, and now I'm chugging some coffee that I didn't have, enough of this morning. So, because I still haven't posted the morning meditation because I filmed this morning. The horrors. So we probably need to go so I can go get social media up to date and stuff. I filmed stuff but didn't post it.
Motivation for both of us this morning was...
It's not so much motivation. This isn't focused. This is having issues. Yes, please grab that. Okay, So here's what we're doing on Saturdays in the shop. And yeah, tilt. There we go. Y'all are getting the glare off the windows. We have multiples of 6 because we've been in business for 6 years. And if you come in on Saturdays, you get to spin the wheel yourself at checkout. For people who are far away and can't come in and spin the wheel. We did this last year. These discounts may not be quite as steep as last year, but so what we're going to do for today and tomorrow, which is August 10th and 11th, is we're going to spin the wheel, and we're going to give you an online discount. The code I've decided, I haven't put these in yet, it's going to be 6 years, so the letter 6. The number 6, YEARS, and then whatever the discount is. Only the one that we spin will be active. So, so you could try to put one in that's different or more than what we're spinning, and we're activating different sale codes on different days. So this will be for 48 hours, and we're just gonna whack you in the face. 18%. I like that one. So, everybody far away, you can save 18% in the online shop with the code 6YEARS18. 6YEARS18 for the 18%. Does that make sense? Makes sense to me.
Makes sense.
My brain can handle that right now. So I will go, once we finish filming, I will go activate that. And maybe sometime next week we will spin this again. But Thursday and Friday, August 10th and 11th, save 18% in the online shop. It's online inventory only if you're buying through the online shop. If you want to call us to use that discount, know that it's just Liz and I for the next couple of days, so we might be busy, or just patience with us. All right, we're down a person at the shop for fielding phone stuff. So yeah, we're gonna go tomorrow, Friday. We don't film, but we're gonna have a virtual sit and stitch from 7 to 9 p.m. U.S. time on Zoom. Get in with the shop phone number
828-877-3550.
And I will be working once my head clears up on getting the schedule that I've already put together for the fall make along. The Zoom options up in the online shop. I'm hoping by next Tuesday, so I can announce Tuesday you can go purchase tickets to the Zoom stuff that we're having, but it's not available online yet. It will be.
I was going to say, since we didn't film yesterday, everything from not this yesterday, Wednesday, but a week before that, is still on sale using the code product of the week.
Yeah, and we don't have much of it left, but it's the Plymouth Hotcakes and the Cherub Aaron prints. So whatever we have left is still available for 15% off. But for the next 2 days, you can save in everything in the online shop 18%. If these colors are intriguing to you, you can call to purchase them, but they will be full price. So, okay. Bye!
Bye!
That's all I got the brain power for right now.